The Faceoff inside the NHL has dropped its final Master Set player items of the event. On top of that, they also released line combos that gave us the potential to add +6 overall to specific players. So instead of doing traditional rankings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the best Master Set player items like normal, but I'm going to do it based on setting you up for the most amount of flexibility when it comes to additional line combos for the rest of the first season of the game. Now, at the time of this recording, there are 35 days left in Season 1, which means there's over a month where you can take advantage of some insane line combos that can make some cards go from good to great, and some cards from great to almost unstoppable. But on top of that, it's not just the Master Set player items that are important. I have gone through all of the 85s, 84s, 83s, all the way down to the 81s at the time of this recording, and I'm going to go through the ones that you should pay attention to if you pack them while trying to make Master Set player items. I want to make this clear, guys. When it comes to line combos, it is very evident that they can just add in random stuff at any time, and it is going to dramatically shake up your team and the cards you want to chase after. However, there are a few things to note here. As you can see, the +3 overall for a USA, Penguin, and Faceoff card can also be combined with a Faceoff card, a Toronto Maple Leaf, and a Vegas Golden Knight. But even if you don't stack these, Faceoff cards with a Penguin and a USA-born player at any point for the rest of the season is going to give you a +3 overall, making all of them far more valuable than really any of the other event items that they've released. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to go through just the overalls because a +3 and above overall boost to cards is going to be a drastic difference. There are also AP and salary cap stacks that you can do, but unfortunately, I don't have a PhD, and this is already going to be confusing enough as it is. So this video is going to give you all of the cards that you want to pay attention to and potentially hold on from the Faceoff event. When it comes to the Master Set player items, Sidney Crosby is the key to all of the huge boosts that you can activate at the high end. If there is one card that you take away from this event, it is Sidney Crosby. He has the potential to go not just +3 or +4, but also +6 when paired with the right players. Even if you just give him his +3 overall, he's got 88 speed, 88 excel with 95 faceoffs. So while at 86 overall, this card is extremely mediocre and probably one of the worst Master Set items. But when you take in the line combinations that Sidney Crosby allows you, 100% the must-have card from this event. Now, the rest of these rankings are all after Sidney Crosby, and there's an argument for a ton of them, but I'll walk you through my justification, but a lot of these are going to be grouped together. In my personal opinion, I think Quinton Byfield, who can only receive the +3 overall when paired with a Penguin and an American, so Sidney Crosby and Team of the Week Tage Thompson, he ends up with 95 speed, 93 excel, shot in the 90s, hand stat in the 90s, and he's 6'5", 225. So no matter what, he is going to be extremely usable, and if the Kings ever get a + overall boost line combo, you're laughing. Now, just outside the must-make territory, we've got Willie Nylander, because he too can fit that +6 boost that you can get, but the reason why I have him slightly below Sidney Crosby is because he is right-handed. So the important thing to note here is when you combined a Penguin, Sidney Crosby, with a face-off item from the second line combo, as well as a face-off item in a Toronto Maple Leaf, Willie Nylander, as well as an American Vegas Golden Knight, you end up with +6 overall. So if you have the Check My Game Jack Eichel from the very first event, Nylander becomes a must-make on top of Sidney Crosby. But if you did not make Jack Eichel from that event, Nylander's a little bit more difficult to activate, but he's still a great card. And before you ask, what about Jack Eichel's base card? If you have him tradable, sell him immediately, because he is one of the most expensive cards in the game, and if you don't have him, please don't buy. You will regret this, I promise you. However, like I said, even if you just get a +3 on Willie Nylander, he is still a phenomenal card. It almost maxes out his deking rating, and he has wheels to go with 91 speed if you were to get that activated. Rantanen, in my opinion, is also in the S tier. 90 speed and excel with over 90 shooting on someone who's 6'4". Rantanen also just feels different. Again, you won't regret making Mikko Rantanen. The same thing goes for Sean Monahan. If you get the +3 activated on him, 90 speed and excel, 96 faceoffs with unstoppable and quick draw, as well as over 90 shooting. Low-key, very underrated from this event. Monahan looks nasty. Don't forget about Seth Jarvis either. With a +3 boost to Seth Jarvis, you've got 92 speed, 93 excel, and agility. Shot all in the 90s, hand stat in the mid-90s. Phenomenal card. I do want to touch on Zach Werenski, because technically you can get him all the way up to +3 as well, if you pair him with Paul Coffey. However, that's running 2 lefties, and you'd have to make all of the Master Set player items from week 2, which honestly isn't a bad idea, but the cost is so much more than the other ones. So while he is an S tier card, he'd be at the lower end. The same thing goes for Anze Kopitar. He only fits the 1+3 boost, and that would give him 89 speed, 90 excel, which is great, as well as 96 faceoffs. And quick release, just the cost is so high. Now on to the A tier, it's just Brady Tkachuk. He fits into a couple different line combos, but they don't stack currently. So you can get the +3 on him, which would give him 89 speed and excel as well as agility. But Big Rig and Sparkplug, he's 6'4" with a great shot. I just think that there are far better options. And then the only theme team item from this release, in my opinion, is Matthew Tkachuk. And that's because he can just get a +3. And that's only 87 speed and excel, so there's just way better options. Like I said, this is an event where you want as many cards in total from this event. You want to make sure you leave with Crosby, but any of the other Master Set player items are also a great idea as well. It's going to depend on your line context. Like I said, if you have Jack Eichel, I would 100% recommend making Nylander. If you've got Team of the Week Tage Thompson, pairing him with Byfield and Crosby is insane. But there are so many more event items that we need to discuss. So on your way to making Sidney Crosby, you are going to have to create 81 and 83 overall event items. Here is the current list that I would strongly consider holding on to if you were to get any of these 81 or 83 overall items. Now, you might want to pause this for these specific cards. I'm not going to show you the combos. I'm just going to say them. So number 1 is Joel Kiviranta. He can actually get up to a +5 if you pair him with William Nylander as well as Tomas Hertl from the Vegas Golden Knights. It can be any of the cards for Hertl and Nylander. Obviously, Nylander's MSP is far better. So at +5 overall, he's getting 92 speed, 91 excel, and he's only a $2 million cap hit. Now, Brett Howden might be one of the more important ones. He can technically get to a +6. If you pair him with Sidney Crosby's Master Set player item, as well as Austin Matthews or Matthew Nyes, that will give you a +6 overall to this card, even at 81 overall. He'll have 92 speed, 91 excel. Absolutely insane. Justin Hall is kind of a funny one. If you pair him with the 85 Matthias Ekholm from the Faceoff event, he actually gets a +5 overall boost, giving him 87 speed, 86 excel, as well as 89 body checking. Not a great card, but if you get that Ekholm, it's a extremely cheap D pairing that you could just throw as your third pair. And another very good option is Ryan Ellis. Because he is a right-handed defenseman, he can be paired with Paul Coffey, which is one of the must-complete line combos from this release. You need to get a right-handed defenseman, even if you don't have Paul Coffey, because you should be working towards getting him regardless. Because yes, when paired with a face-off event defenseman, 97 speed, the fastest card in the game. Something that you need to make sure you get done, especially if you already have Paul Coffey. So if you get any of those 81s while you're doing trade-ins to get any of the Master Set items, just hold off trading them in, go through your collection, go through your lineup, see if it's worth it. Because remember, for the next month, before line combinations are reset for Season 2, a face-off item with an Edmonton Oilers defenseman, a face-off item is required for these massive +3 overall line combinations. You want to have as many as possible. On to the 83 overalls. Again, these are cards I would consider holding on to. Sean Walker, right-handed defenseman, can go with an Edmonton Oiler or Paul Coffey, get a +3 overall. 90 speed, 90 excel. A great option here for Sean Walker. Damon Severson, also a very good option, being right-handed. 88 speed, 88 excel and agility when paired with an Edmonton Oiler. Also gets good body checking up at 88, so another good option here if you get Damon Severson. Now, Matthias Michelli might be one of the most important 83 overalls. He can actually fit to getting that +6 overall boost. Again, you're going to need Jack Eichel, but if you pair Matthias Michelli with a Jack Eichel card and Sidney Crosby, you're looking at a +6 overall boost, which means that he would have 92 speed, 93 excel, and agility with a great shot, hand stats, all of it, and quick release. For an easy rule of thumb, guys, if you get any of the Vegas Golden Knights, there will still be more cards that come out before this event is over. Any Vegas Golden Knight card from the Faceoff event, any Pittsburgh Penguin, and any Toronto Maple Leaf has the potential to get you a +6 overall even after the event is over. So that might be the best blanket way to explain. Make sure from those 3 teams, if you get any card that is a forward, I would hold on to it. Now, Yuri Kulich fits a very specific one. He can actually get a +5 overall boost. 92 speed, 92 excel, and agility. This one is super specific, but currently, if you use Yuri Kulich with the 83 Jack Drury from this event, as well as the 85 Ricardo Raquel from this event, +5 overall. So it's going to require a lot of other stuff, but still has a ton of value. Trent Frederick can actually get a +4 overall boost. To get this, you would need to pair him with Sidney Crosby, as well as Tim Stützle from the Faceoff event, and you would get a +4 overall boost. Pretty crazy one there, kind of sneaky as well. 90 faceoffs. And then you've got Jack Drury, who I mentioned is a part of that +5 overall boost. So again, another very sneaky one that you could have a crazy good line combo if you're able to get Jack Drury. Now, there are a bunch of very good 84 overall cards as well, but since you can't make those, they're all going to be extremely expensive to acquire. The same thing goes with the 82 overalls, and for example, Zach Bogosian would fit perfectly with Paul Coffey, because at +3 overall, he would get 92 speed, as well as 90 body checking. However, people aren't dumb, and you're going to have to way overpay for him, so I'm not going to include those, because you can't make them. So once you have completed Sidney Crosby, you've got some decisions to make, and one of them is going to be whether you should shoot your shot on the 85 overall account-bound set from the event trade-in. So if you head on over to those sets, you'll see the 85 overall face-off set that is account-bound. It requires 30 collectibles to acquire this, and it is a choice pack, one of 2. However, there is a finite amount of collectibles that you can earn. You can get a bunch in Wildcard by completing the Wildcard path. You can get the 5 in the store for the daily pack when it resets every day. And then you also have the objective list where you can earn inside the NHL player collectibles as well. So it's going to depend on how many you have, but let's talk about that 85 overall set. Something to consider is that no matter who you get, technically, there's multiple options to get +3 overall at the minimum, which drastically changes the value of these cards. Don't forget, they are account bound, so if you don't get who you want, you can't do anything with them, but they do have some flexibility because in the future, if cards come out that can fit into those line combos, they're 85 overall face-off items, and the face-off items will be useful for at least the next month. So I went ahead and did the homework, so you guys don't have to. Let's talk about all the 85s. Rasmus Andersson is a strong selection. He can go perfectly with Paul Coffey, probably one of the best in my opinion. Rasmus Andersson can go with Paul Coffey. He's a right-handed defenseman, 90 speed, excel, and agility, as well as good body checking and defensive awareness. I also love the second wind ability. So if you were to get Rasmus Andersson, strong option there. Ivan Barbashev can go to +6 overall. So automatically becomes one of the best options if you get him. You'll need to pair him with Sidney Crosby from this event, as well as Matthew Nyes or Austin Matthews. So again, very specific, but he has the potential to get to +6. Now, Jesper Bratt, he can actually get to a +4. Very specific, however, and probably not worth it. But if you pair him with Sidney Crosby from the Faceoff event, and a USA-born Washington Capital, you can get a +4 overall. And if you're able to do that, 94 speed, 92 excel. Sneaky, one of the better options that you can acquire. Sean Durzi, also another strong option, gets a +3, right-handed, can be paired with Coffey, 90 speed, excel, and agility. I'd probably rather have Rasmus Andersson, but either or. Now, Matthias Ekholm, I wouldn't be super stoked, and I would probably take one of the other options. But again, if you pair him with Justin Hall, he gets a +5. That gives him 88 speed and excel. He's 6'5" with 95 body checking and almost maxed out defensive awareness. So again, just something to consider there. Philip Forsberg can also get to a +4 overall. However, that would only give him 90 speed, 91 excel, which is still great. But again, you're probably going to want to use some of these combos with other players. You'd have to pair him with Crosby as well as a USA-born Capital. Matthew Nyes is one of the most important. He can get to +6. And on top of that, I would rather have Matthew Nyes than William Nylander, simply because with Nylander and Jack Eichel, they're both right-handed wingers. So Matthew Nyes gives you a +6 option. He's also gigantic, and he is left-handed. So at +6 overall, 91 speed, 92 excel, shot way in the 90s. Hand stats are great. Body checking is also 92. So if you get Matthew Nyes as an option, I would definitely take him. On top of that, you could also pair him with Howden from this event, which is far easier to acquire, also hits the +6. Jordan Kyrou can essentially just get the +3, but he's already such a good skater. He'd have 95 acceleration and 92 speed with 89 shooting. So again, if you don't get anything else that fits your line combos, Jordan Kyrou is just a great card by himself. Brendan Montour is another great option to go with Paul Coffey. 91 speed, 89 excel, so something to consider there. Now, Ricard Raquel is one of the most important because he can make far cheaper +6 and +5 overall boosts, and you don't need Jack Eichel. So he can get +6 if you pair him with Howden and Nyes from this event. He can also get a +5 if you pair him with Kulich and Drury from this event. At +6, 93 speed, excel, agility with all-star quick release. Absolutely insane card. Sam Reinhart is really the only bust. Even with the +3, he would get 88 excel, but only 86 speed. Great shot and quick release, but there is 100% a better option from this list. And then lastly, Tim Stützle. If you pair him with Sidney Crosby and Trent Frederick, you can get a +4 overall boost. He also fits on a line with Gartner and McDavid, as well as some other high-end ones to get a +1 boost, but just a great card in general. So I know that's a lot and very confusing, but please go back and reference this video when you're making your selections and when you get packs of untradeable cards so that you know if you should trade it in or maybe consider holding on to it later on to the event. Guys, this is an event where I would get as much stuff as I could, hold on until the end of the event to be sure that there's no crazy line combo that comes out that changes everything again, which there will, but it gives you the most options when it comes to that. There's no rush. You have a timer until Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So again, I hope this helps. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.